Hi, Genki Call here with your Soulforge offerings for the week of December 12th, 2022. Let's start with the legendaries, as always. We've got Queen Moonclaw, who's going to create 9 skulls boosted by green allies and enemies. That means you can get up to an additional 8 skulls, and then summons a random gnoll. Um, she's not bad. I used to use her a lot when I was lower level, and if there's a lot of green allies and enemies, she could be pretty useful with the skulls, but you can't control where the skulls are going to land, and that makes her a little dangerous to use. Then we've got Essentia, who is 100% useless. Useless! Mostly useless. But she does give all dragon allies a 50% mana start, and at this time she's the only troop that does. There was for a little while another troop that did that, but that got changed, unfortunately. She does summon a light storm at the start of battle, so if you need these two things, otherwise, I mean, her spell is what's useless. You really can't win a battle with this troop. I've tried. From necessity, I have tried. Oh, King Oberon is in here. I like King Oberon. So he gives life and magic to all allies, then creates a firestorm and enchants all Fey allies. And he gives all Fey allies a 50% mana start. I really like him a lot. I don't use him that often, but he's really fun on a Fey team with Queen Titania. But I mean, +5 magic is pretty significant. Plus he's given them some life, so in delves or in world events, things where you have a boost to the spell, he's going to be very, very useful. Then we've got Czernobog. Czernobog from Hellcrag creates 10 brown gems and explodes. For me, he's going to explode most of the board. He also conjures a dust storm at the start of every single turn unless he gets stunned. Every turn. He's the only troop in the game that can do that right now, and he has the skull damage reduction as well. So really useful troop as well. Really good legendary. 2 really good legendaries in here. Um, would I spend 800 diamonds to craft them? Not unless you really need the troops for your power levels, or you have a specific team that you want to use them on that you're just dying to use and you can't wait to pull them, because generally it's better to save your diamonds for crafting mythics. Getting mythic blocked is a lot worse than getting legendary blocked because the mythics are harder to pull. So speaking of but bump. Speaking of the mythics, let's go over them. So we've got Tianyi. I like this troop. I think he's fun. He does heavy splash damage to an enemy, stuns all affected enemies, double damage if my attack is greater. Now you may have to boost your attack. There are multiple ways to boost the attack, but that double damage can be really significant. Plus he summons up to 3 monkey disciples that will feed the whole team and heal the whole team as well. And he steals 2 magic from the first enemy at the start of the turn. If you have a long battle, you're going to end up just draining away all their magic. And he can dodge skull damage as well, which is always nice. Then we've got Kurandara. Now, Kurandara transforms yellow gems to doom skulls. He also does some damage to an enemy, but and he summons Doomstorm. The thing is, there are a lot of mythics that transform yellow gems to doom skulls, so why would you want Kurandara? Well, there are 2 reasons. One is for your power levels at Urskaya, and the other is 50% chance to curse all enemies when matching 4+ gems. Also, the Fire Link is very nice. But the curse is very, very useful if you're running with, say, High King Iron Gut and you don't have other options. There are lots of options, including legendaries that can curse your enemies, but this will curse them all at once. The reason I should backtrack and say the reason why curse is useful with High King Iron Gut is that if there is a troop that is immune to devour, then they get cursed and then you can devour them. So anyway, next up we have Astro Mother. Astro Mother, she's kind of forgettable. She's got cool artwork, but remove all gems of a chosen color. The only thing that is going to do, removing those gems, is deny that color to your enemies and boost your scatter damage. But there are lots of troops that do better scatter damage, and it is true scatter damage, but you look at your options for true scatter damage. There's Venoxia, there's Queen Beatrix, both more powerful than this. You do have a 40% chance to give Reflect to a random ally at the start of the turn, but Reflect can be kind of weak. I mean, it does an additional 50% damage. Oops. It does an extra 50% damage, but you can see right here. Unless they're hitting you really hard, it's not going to do that much damage. Next up, we've got the Wild King. I love the Wild King. He is awesome, and I am using him daily for level 12 explorers on auto play. Very, very good team that I have using Gorgotha and a couple of others. I need to put out a video on that for you, so you can use it too. Enrage all allies and give them attack. It's your entire team. The Wild Queen will give steal attack, and he just gives the entire team attack without stealing. Then creates a mix of 22 skulls and yellow gems. The yellow feeds directly back into him, and with my team Gorgotha, who will blow up the board and get the whole team mana. Gorgotha also has some really nice skull damage reduction, making it much more safe to use with this troop. And you do have a Bone Storm at the start of battle as well. I don't really pay attention to this because I'm just going to use whatever team is most useful and not worry about the wild folk allies. But love this troop. I consider him one of the best skull spammers in the game. Love this troop. He's from Pansvale. If you missed out on him with your event keys when we were there, here's your chance to get him. So as far as weapons go, we've got the Flesh Ripper, and as you can see, I don't have it yet. I don't have it yet. So it eliminates all armor from an enemy. There are lots of weapons that do that. Then does damage boosted by the armor eliminated, which means if you're fighting something really high level, it's going to scale a lot of damage off of that. Now, only if they have armor. If they're all stripped of armor, then it's not going to do much of anything at all. But Rel pointed out, the amazing Rel, I love him. He pointed out that this is very, very good for events, such as the one that we're fighting right now. So if you have a boost from medals and badges, it's basically going to one-shot everything. So for that reason, highly recommended by Rel that you craft this. I'm going to recommend it because he recommends it, but also because I need it. I must have all weapons. I don't ever want to get weapon blocked again because getting weapon blocked is worse than getting pet blocked. It's worse than getting mythic blocked because at least you can randomly find a pet that you need. You can craft a mythic eventually, but you can't get the weapons at all until we come back to the kingdom that we're in. And that could take a year. You never know how long it's going to be. So if you're worried about getting weapon blocked on your power levels, be sure and craft the weapons while you have a chance. So what else have we got here? Besides the Flesh Ripper, the Tome of Spores is in the Soulforge today only. This is the Amanathrax weapon. Don't get it here though. Get it from the faction assault because gems are a lot easier to come across than diamonds, and while it is cheaper than, this is 300, this is 200, it's only quote unquote only 200 diamonds, but those 200 diamonds can mean the difference between you crafting a mythic and not being able to craft a mythic. Now I just said craft weapons, but I also explained why. But Since you can get this with your gems in the Faction Assault shop, I recommend doing it that way if you need it. It does some damage, scatter damage boosted by a Manithrax allies, explodes some gems for each Manithrax ally, and summon an Manithrax troop. So this is going to be very useful if you're using, like, you're in the world event and you have 3 of Gob Truffle with you, or you have a bunch of, oh no, this is only a Manithrax. This isn't even the, the faction. This isn't even the Zajan troops. This is specifically a Manithrax. But if you're running with 3 Gob Truffles, really helpful. But in general, it does self-enchant, which is nice. But again, unless you're running with an Manithrax team, it's not going to be that useful. But again, if you need it for your power levels, grab it. Just get it in the Faction Assault. Anyway, available today only, will not be available again till the next Manithrax Faction Assault. Norbert's Turnip. I hate this weapon. I love this weapon and I hate this weapon. If you're running with a Gobbo team, this is the weapon of choice. Creates a mix of 6 green and red gems for each goblin ally, does damage, and gets an extra turn! Ah! No! It's the extra turn. It's the extra turn, man. That thing will kick your butt. Anyway, so that's why I recommend crafting it, because really good weapon. If you're running with goblins, of course. We've got the Doomed Breaker, you know, the doomed weapons. You have to have a Forge Scroll or one of the new orbs that can level this up in order to... I have to cough. I'm so sorry. Ah, I'm back. Um, it's you know, as far as doomed weapons go, I highly recommend the ones that create doom skulls. And, you know, if you want to be a troll in Guild Wars, then the books as well. After that, it's just, are you going to be weapon blocked, or do you just want to try out the weapon? So, they're so expensive. 900 diamonds is a lot. So, anyway, those are my thoughts on this weapon. Dagger of Zajan, this one's nice and cheap. Remove all green gems. This is actually one I highly recommend that you get. It's only 75 diamonds, but it's very, very useful, especially in Guild Wars, because it gets an extra turn. It is one of only 2 weapons in the game currently that are epic weapons that get an extra turn. So, also, if you're fighting goblins in Guild Wars, you get double damage. So, yay for that. Either way, the extra turn is very useful. It only takes 9 mana to fill it up, so definitely recommend getting this if you're interested in the extra turn and the double damage on goblins. Next up, we have the face stick. Now, I love this weapon because it's fun to use, and I don't know if part of that is because it has a funny name and it's funny looking weapon, but it does some splash damage and explodes 8 gems of one of their mana colors. I just like it. It's fun to me, but there are better options. Then we've got the hack job. Oh my gosh, there are so many! So many! I don't think you really need to worry too much about getting weapon blocked here. There are so many weapons. Alright, damage to an enemy boosted by Zajan allies, then create a mix of 6 green and brown gems for each Zajan ally. It's the same colors as Gob Truffle. So it actually could be useful to use with Gob Truffle, because he also creates the brown and green, so more chance to loop, maybe? With Gob Truffle, anyway. There are other choices, but there's that one. Next up we have the Gob Mother's Wand, and explode 3 gems and create a wish gem. But it doesn't get an extra turn. So you're going to explode 3 gems first and then create a wish gem? No! Why? Why would you give those wish gems to your enemy? You don't want to use this weapon unless they can't explode things. The only way to activate a wish gem is to explode it. The problem is, when you explode a wish gem, that could give mana to one of your teammates. It could give full mana to your entire team, or can give mana to your entire team and the entire enemy team as well. So they're dangerous to use, and so, unless you're collecting, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this weapon. Or if you like to live dangerously, then grab it. Next up, we have the Gobstiffer. This is a must-have weapon for me personally. Of course, I already have it. Of course I do, because I love the Splody weapons. Explode green gems, grant a random status effect to all goblin allies, then summon a goblin troop. And we have yellow and blue. There are only a couple of Splody weapons that use yellow and blue. Actually, this might be the only one. Anyway, I know there aren't very many, so if you need a weapon that explodes, I worry about the splody thing and the summon first, and then I worry about the other thing. This is just a bonus to me. Exploding and summoning is what I like about these weapons, but if you have to choose just one weapon to craft, I would say Dagger's Agent. Norbert's, well, I mean, it's so cheap. Let's not count that. Norbert's Turnip, I would say. These two, and then it's personal preference. Up to you. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you folks soon. Bye-bye!